RFW players banned. Will this affect the race? Okay, this is a good video. Let's watch this real quick. I'm just curious on what the heck is going on. Because, yeah, a bunch of players got banned. I wanted to learn more. Apparently, they were using a renown exploit to get the renown to, like, the 20s so that you could get better gear. I don't know. It's only a 3-day ban for a lot of these Race to World First players in Echo and Method. Maybe some people in Liquid, too. But I feel like it's not going to affect the race, right? Because it's only 3 days, so they should be able to get fully geared by next week anyway. I'm also curious why they're doing this, because, like, does it matter that much? Like, I don't know. Let's take a look. Let's take a look.
My name is Nagura, and today I'm going to do a quick video about why so many Race to World First players have been banned. Yeah, you heard it correctly. There are quite a few Race to World First players that have been suspended for exploiting a loophole with renown gain. It has been approximately 10 Method players around.
Dude, I've just got to say, this background with the trees and the camera and the lighting in here. Well done, Nagura. Well done. Yeah, I'm pretty jealous of it. Like, this is a great room. This is a great looking room. Straight up. All right, let's keep going.
7 Echo players, and I think only 1 of the Liquid players has been banned. So it's only 4 days. And the reason why we can actually have a post here, I mean, there's also other people that have been banned outside of the Race to World First. But I guess the most important players that are going to be relevant because their season starts now are those Race to World First players. There's been an official statement by Sorbrix in the Race to World First Discord. Okay. Sorbrix says, "Greetings. As you may have already noticed, we are in the process of issuing suspensions for accounts that took advantage of specific loopholes that allowed faster than intended progress on the Severed Threats Renown track. This is being done for everyone who took advantage, but because this is an issue that will be of particular interest to the folks here, we wanted to provide extra content." Folks here as in like the people in the Race to World First Discord. "The extra renown and rewards gained will be taken away by the time the suspensions end. This is not a step we take lightly, but game integrity demands that there be consequences beyond just rolling back gains, or we're just incentivizing competitive players to take immediate advantage of every exploit they find. Sincere thanks to those of you who helped bring these issues to our attention, and best of luck to all in the race ahead." All right. So
I feel like it's sometimes tricky to know what. Okay, call me out if this is some copium. But sometimes when you're playing a new game or a new patch or a new expansion in this case, sometimes it's tricky to know what's an exploit and what Blizzard is just like, oh, well, that's just an effective way of farming it up. I don't know how the Renown exploit worked, just to be clear. I don't know what the players were doing. So I don't know if it was obviously exploiting or if it was kind of just like, this is kind of on the line here, kind of on the edge. You know what I'm saying? Does anyone know the method that they were doing? The method. You cheese the game and it lets you pick all 3 factions in the spider area. Okay, so that seems a little more on the line of like you kind of know it's an exploit then. Because there's some exploits that are kind of like a little more on the you know, some gray area. It's like, oh, well, I was just playing the game and you know, this kind of was happening and it was efficient, so I kept doing it, kind of a thing, right? Like for example, level 70s being really strong at the start of the expansion, and they were doing more DPS than level 80s or level 79s. So it's like, to spam level, I'm just going to spam with low levels. Is that an exploit? Is that abusing mechanics? Or is that just like playing the game in an efficient way because you found an efficient way to play until Blizzard fixes it, right? So I guess my point is there's a ton of gray area here with exploiting, and I think the word sounds really bad, but anyway, let's keep watching.
First of all, what does this mean? So obviously the advantage that they got from the renown is going to be rolled back, and they're not going to be gaining this anymore. Now, how much of an advantage was it to farm this renown? Not really a lot, right? That's why most players, most normal players, didn't really try to farm insane.
Those normal players? What? A bunch of normies. Oh, come on. Normal players. All right, they didn't do that, but we elite top players, we got it done.
Amounts of renown because they gain.
My renown is level 8, guys. I'm a normie.
It's very minimal. Now, of course, for the Race to World First, every tiny little gain matters. So they tried to push for this, and that's why they actually use these different kinds of loopholes to get renown quicker. Now, some people are saying that, or have different opinions on this. I do want to say that in the past, there have been similar loopholes and gray areas and exploits that players have been abusing and did not get banned. While other times, there have been loopholes like this that people have been used, and they did get rolled back. So sometimes similar bugs have existed that people have abused, and then they got their benefits rolled back, but did not get suspended, right? And at that point, if that is the case, like if that's what you're thinking, oh, then that means, oh, we should just exploit early and we should exploit often because the suspensions or the punishments from Blizzard are so low. So I just want to explain like some context here and why these Race to World First players have decided on exploiting something like this for such a minimal gain. Because a lot of people think like, why do this? Like, what's the purpose of this if you could lose the whole race if you get banned, right? And that's the explanation, right? Like in the past, Blizzard has been really inconsistent with some of these bans, and a lot of the bans have been very minor in comparison. Now, I do want to also talk about.
So once again, like my perspective is that it goes back to that same example. Like we have issues in the past where there's like an exploit for people that level really quick. All right, like once again, this level 70s being very strong, boosting the level 78s through dungeons. You could definitely call that an exploit, right? You're exploiting low levels being stronger than intended. But everyone did it, and then they ended up fixing it. They didn't ban the people that did it, and they didn't roll back the characters, but the people that abused it kept their characters. So basically, what do you learn from that? It's like, well, exploit early and often, like Nagira is saying. So, you know, there is some gray area here. It's like, well, okay, we found a bug. They'll probably fix it. Like, let's just use it until they fix it. Like, I can see the mentality there. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't think it was like this sinister, like, oh man, I'm gonna exploit the game so that we can get Race to World, like we can get stronger. And like I think it was more just like, all right, yeah, bugs happen all the time. Let's you know, do what we can do until they fix it, right? Because that's just pretty much what every player does. So I don't know, I'm not trying to like necessarily fully justify it, but I think that's pretty common gamer behavior, especially at the elite level.
Out the fact if this is affecting the Race to World First a lot or not, because a lot of people think, oh my god, the Race to World First is now over, or it's going to be decided like Liquid is just going to win because they have the least amount of players banned and so on. So let me explain what kind of impact this has on the race, at least in my opinion. So obviously the season is starting, but we have a normal mode and heroic week first where there's no Mythic Plus available. So this is like the best kind of situation for the Race to World First players to be banned without it having too much of an impact on the actual race, because the race starts, like really starts, when Mythic comes out, right? Which is the ID afterwards, and that's when everyone is going to be unbanned again. Now, what are they actually going to miss out on during those couple of days that they're banned during the first week? So number one, they're going to be missing out on Mythic Zero runs, because Mythic Zero is now a daily lockout rather than a weekly lockout. So that means that they missed the opportunity on potentially getting some trinkets from Mythic Zero. It's not insane loot, it's just champion track loot. So it's not going to be some insane item level that they miss out here. But of course, there might be some better trinkets for some classes or some specs that they really want. And then they might be losing out on those. But again, keep in mind that the week afterwards, Mythic Plus is going to be available, and then you can still get them in higher item level there. Then they're going to be missing out on Bountiful Dels. If these players have a lot of coffer keys, and they potentially would be able to do 4 Bountiful Delves each day, because you're limited by the amount of delves that are bountiful, because it's time-based.
So you can do 4 per day, it sounds like, at level 8. I don't know about you guys. I think I only have like 9 or 10 keys. So for me, I'm only going to be able to do 4 today and 4 tomorrow and like 1 or 2 that next day, and I'll pretty much be out of keys anyway. I have 12 keys. How many, chat, how many keys do you guys have? Because for me, I don't have that many anyway. I think like most people have like 10 or less. Yeah. So if you wanted to do 4 every day for this whole week, I mean, quick math, what is that, like 28 keys or something? I don't think, like, does anyone have that many? So I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue, as long as you can get in like 2 or 3 days of solid delving.
So each day, 4 delves are bountiful, changing every day. Once you've done a bountiful delve, it's a normal delve, right? So The only time it matters to do a Bountiful Delve, though, is having a coffer key. So if you have 4 times 7 coffer keys the first week of the first season, then the ban would matter to you, because then you're losing out on the first.
Is it possible to have 28 coffer keys? I don't think so. Is it? There's no way. That's so many. Yeah, no. Okay, so no one even has that many, so it doesn't matter.
Couple of days where you can do the Bountiful Delves. But what do you get from the Bountiful Delves with a coffer key?
Heroic
Champion
gear.
track gear.
Yeah.
Again, champion track, not gonna be that big of a deal. It doesn't give you any like major important items from Delves. It doesn't give you a tier set. Like losing out on this champion track gear, again, also not gonna be a big deal. The major things that you want to do in the first week is normal mode raid, heroic raid, and fill up your vault. And you can do those things still, even if you miss out on the first couple of days.
Yeah.
Now,
So it's not that
obviously,
big of
the
a deal
race
at all.
first players, though, they do split raids. They do a lot of split raids. And doing a lot of split raids takes a long time. So it's not necessarily going to be hard for them to clear heroic and normal mode, but it's going to take a long time for them to clear it that many times. So missing out on a lot of players, especially for Method and Echo, that miss like 10 or 7 players, for them it might actually matter at the very start, like the first couple of days, because they might have to bring in more outside players, or they have to delay the splits, or they have to do them on different days where they maybe didn't plan on. So it definitely is going to be like a little bit of a problem for them, like when it comes to organizing the normal and heroic raids. But outside of that, the players that are banned are still going to be able to do them on their characters once they're unbanned, right? And they're also still going to be able to fill up the whole vault as well, of course, with their delves and with their dungeons. Is this going to have like a super major impact on the raid so first? No. Is it going to have
That's pretty much
a
what we
little bit of
thought.
an impact? I would say yes, especially
Pretty much
for
what we
the players
thought, yeah.
that did receive the suspensions. Their character might be slightly worse at the start of the Mythic Week. Of course, once the Mythic Week gets rolling, everyone is going to have much higher item level than what is available the first week. So it's very early, it's not going to matter anymore in the Mythic Week. But at the start of the Mythic Week, it's going to matter a little bit when some of the players have lower item level, right? Because they're missed out on some days in the normal
All right.
heroic week.
There it is,
So
guys.
I personally think this was a good thing that Blizzard decided to punish the players in such a way that it's not going to have an insane impact on the Race to World First. Because, of course, the Race to World First is something that we as a community like watching. Maybe not everyone, but a lot of the people from the community like following the race and like watching it.
Bro, imagine they did 30-day bans for everyone, like hardware bans, and like entire Echo, entire Method, entire Liquid's just banned, and then some random guild, I don't know, like Herbs of Anarchy from Mooncard randomly just comes in and snags it. That would be insane. Yeah. Who knows? Could
bans
happen.
like this, like really affecting the race
All right.
completely and like making it super one-sided, would be a shame for us viewers. For the Race to World First players themselves, of course, it also would be a shame if it's going to have a major impact. So the fact that they banned or suspended players like this means that it has an impact, but not big enough for it to actually have a major impact on the race itself. But I do think it has enough impact for the players to maybe think twice next time that something like this occurs, right? Because bugs like this can always happen. World of Warcraft is a big game. It's almost impossible to have it completely bug-free. And we all know that these Race to First players, they do everything they can to figure out like tiny little advantages here and there. And if they come across a bug like this, then of course they're going to be thinking, okay, there's a bug.
Like for me, the pause frame. For me, I'm curious on how this bug worked. So it sounds like in the Spider Renown area, you could pick all 3 companions. Was it kind of like an accident bug where if you just like clicked them, you just be able to accept all of them in like a specific instance? Or was it something like you had to pick one, log out, you know, log in, run a script, pick another, log out, log in, run a script? Like if it's something like that, then that seems to me a bit more like, yeah, they could probably use some good bans here. But if it was something where it's like you kind of just logged in and it's like, oh, I kind of accidentally got all 3 somehow, let me tell other friends about it so they can take advantage of this because Race to World, like we want to come first. So I don't really know the details of the exploit. If you were multi-boxing on one account, you could accept each and turn in each independently. Interesting. So you had multiple accounts on the same BattleNet. You accepted all 3, and then turn them all in on different characters on that same account. I'm trying to think how malicious that is. I mean, yeah, you're clear. Okay, I mean, yeah, you're clearly doing some shady stuff with that. I mean, yeah, you can't really do that by mistake unless you're leveling multiple characters at the same time, like Genji, and you get to that same quest area. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty technical, you know. that's pretty technical.
But if we use this, we get an advantage. But we shouldn't, because it's a bug, right? They knowingly know, they know, okay, this is an exploit. So what are they gonna do? Well, if we don't use it, but the other teams are using it, we might fall behind if they don't get punished by Blizzard, right?
Right, yeah.
So from past history, from like what they've known, from how Blizzard treated these kind of issues, they decided, you know what, we want to do this because we feel like we're not going to get punished so much that it would matter, right? But now Blizzard says, hey, wait a second, guys. We want...
Someone in the chat says you don't have to do it at the same time. Some people who share accounts with their family got banned too. So is that true? Like, if you could just level one character and pick one path, and then level another character and pick another, level a third character and pick the third, and then you have all three unlocked, that doesn't seem malicious pretty much at all. Especially for someone who has a lot of characters, you could have definitely done that on accident. Right?
Exactly this situation to stop happening, right? We want to say, hey, we're going to punish you from here on out, and we want to make sure that you don't feel incentivized to use bugs like this in the future again, right? So I think personally this was a good decision by Blizzard. I don't think it has a major impact on the race. I think moving forward, the race till first players are definitely going to think twice about using a bug like this.
All right, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. If you're Genji, you're leveling 17 characters. You level your first one and you pick one spider path, and you level your second, you pick the other, and you log back to your main and you realize, oh, I have them both unlocked. Just playing devil's advocate, if you're Genji in that situation, you might think, okay, I can get them all unlocked because everything is account wide. So on my ult, I should get the other one, so my main has the other paths unlocked, so that I can get all of them unlocked, so that I can get the rewards faster. You might not even think that's a bug. Oh, he did report it? Oh, okay, so they knew it. Okay. All right, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. I don't know. Maybe you did know it was a bug. Okay, maybe, okay, never mind. All right, let's keep watching the video. Okay.
Or not. Especially when it has such a small impact, right? Yeah, that's it on the bans and what happened. Let me know what you guys think about this. Write in the comments below. Like, do you think it was a good decision by Blizzard to ban them? Do you think the players should have done something differently? How do you think it's going to impact the race? Do you think there's like some bigger impacts that I maybe didn't think about? Just let me know in the comments below, and have a great day, everybody. Bye.
All right, cool video. There was a bunch of confusion on what's going on there. So if you just tuned in, bunch of Race to World first players got banned, but they're only like 3-day bans. It's not really gonna have any effect, and basically they were exploiting renown to get super high renown levels to get better gear, which was a minuscule like kind of upgrade anyway, but it's pretty much not gonna matter. So that's the TLDR.